Shalom, 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 Yasha Allah. This your boy, Bahasham Allah, back at you with another quick edifying video. Today's lesson is going to be called Final Notice for Egypt's Thick Clay. Final notice for Egypt's thick clay. All right, first and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory. I want to say, call Halal Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rawchaa, Qadash. That's all praises to the Heavenly Father, whose name is Yahawah, and his only begotten Son's name, who you ignorantly call Jesus, whose name is Yahawashi. All right, and the Holy Spirit, which is the Rawchaa Qadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS who have ruled well through the Spirit and have fed and edified the sheep in these last days, and has pushed this gospel and this truth to the four corners of the earth in these last days. A mighty shalom. Another mighty shalom to all you Akim out there laboring on the highways and on the hedges and on the unicorn, which is this internet, pushing this 100% doctrine, this 100% truth to the four corners of the earth in these last days. A mighty shalom to you all as well. Like I said, today's lesson, final notice for Egypt's thick clay. All right, we're going to get into it and, show you the correlation. Right now, this is a running clock of the USA debt clock. All right, so you see at the top, it says United States national debt. And right now you see it's constantly increasing. All right. Right now, I believe this is 37,484,150,000,000. All right. And counting. All right. All right. For the U.S. debt clock. All right. Who's paying that? Right. Who's paying that? All right. Hey, but the final bill for your thick clay is just about due. Okay. Final notice. All right. So the brothers, we had brought out Habakkuk 2. That's what I want to kind of get into. All right. So Lord's will, this is edifying. Okay. And what's crazy is as I was getting ready to do this and meditating on this, I seen that one of my brothers had did a lesson. I didn't get to watch it, but I saw that it looks like he's talking about the same similar type of lesson. So call Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. All right. So this is the book of Habakkuk, right? 2. I'm gonna start at verse 4. All right, and just understand. And this is why it's important to look into these words. All right, when we're about to bring out. Okay, and you have to go into the meaning of these words. Okay, so this is Habakkuk chapter 2, and I'm gonna start at verse 4. It says, "Behold, his soul, which is lifted up, is not upright in him." It says, "But the just shall live by his faith." It says, "Yea, also because he transgressive by wine," right? Who Esau Edom, all right. "He is a proud man, all right. Neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as deaf, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heap unto him all people." All right, and that's what he does. Okay, in the NLT it says, "Wealth is treacherous, and the arrogant are never at rest. They open their mouths as wide as the grave, and like death, they are never satisfied in their greed. They have gathered up many nations and swallowed many people." All right, let me go to the book of Micah real quick. Micah and 2. All right. Micah chapter 2 and verse 1, it says, "Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hands." Okay. And that's what they do. Okay. Because it's in the power of their hands. All right. They have that blessing of the sword. So what do? They take everything by violence. All right. Let's read on verse 2. It says, "They covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away, so that they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage." All right. It's never enough for them. All right. And guess what? the tab is just only increasing, all right, on this devil. Okay. But it's so much that they, um, they'll take anything that's not sold down, man. All right. Um, let's go to Obadiah real quick. All right. And let's go to um let's see. Let's start at 1, right? The vision of Obadiah, thus saith Yahawah, the most high power, concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from Yahawah, Bahasham, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. It says, behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, and thou art greatly despised. All right, it says, the pride of thine heart have deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Okay, you know that Esau's blessing was the sword. All right, and the prophecy that he was, he was going to have the fatness of the earth. Okay, and how was he going to take it? By what? By his blessing, which was the sword. Okay, and so through that, all right, he conquered, took over. All right, he raped, pillaged, deleted folks, everything. All right, just destroyed everything and tried to take everything upon him, like the book of Habakkuk says. Let me jump down. Verse number 5, it says, if thieves came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? It says, would they not have stolen till they had enough? If the grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes? All right. But this devil, it's not right. Like Habakkuk said, it's never good. Or Micah, all right, they'll take anything. All right, even a man's heritage, they'll steal that from him. You know what I mean? They'll take a man and it just the whole nine. All right. Let's read the NLT, verse 5. It says, if thieves came at night and robbed you, what a disaster awaits you. It says, they would not take everything. Those who harvest grapes always leave a few for the poor, but your enemies will wipe you out completely. All right. But this devil, it's never good enough for him. All right. Let's go back to the book of Habakkuk. Habakkuk. Salakia. Verse number 5, it says, yea, also, because he transgresseth by wine, all right, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, it says, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and as deaf, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. And that's what he wants to do. All right. He wants to, gather and control all people. All right. He's gathering all their resources and these different things. All right. Perfect example. What did Egypt do? Just what is it? Last week, I believe. They started they're sending military down to Venezuela. All right. And it claims that they're going to, tackle, the drug cartel. All right. But what are they doing? All right. We know that they're really down there for that oil. All right. They're always trying to increase everything that they have. It's never enough. All right. It says, shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. All right. And that's what he does. All right. That's what this devil does. Right. Robs, steals, right. And deletes. All right. All for his purpose. Right. And it's never enough. It says, woe unto him that increaseth that which is not his. How long? And it says, and to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. All right. And we're going to go into that thick clay, what that word means. Okay. Because that's what he does. He, he heaps together all the people, all right, you know, you think about this place, man. All right, this place is like we just read, or we just saw on the thing. This place is $37 trillion in debt, and it might be more than that, right? But $37 trillion, and it's just constantly increasing. All right, but guess what? The final notice for Egypt is coming soon, man. All right, your final notice for your thick clay is coming. All right, so let's get this word. All right, Salakia. Hit the wrong button. Got that fat finger, Salakia. All right, let's go to that word, right? And this is, you know, why the apostles and elders, you know, talk about, you know, going into these words. Okay, so this is the word.
Strong's H 5671. Avteet.
Abteet. All right, abteet. Okay, so that thick clay, right? And what does it mean? It says biblical usage, weight of pledges, heavy debts. Okay, heavy debts. All right, and this place is in heavy debt. All right, this place owes, you know, any and everybody, man. All right, you look at it, right? They have sold some of their land, right, to Moab, right? They owe Moab. They owe a lot of nations. All right, and this place, you see, $37 trillion in debt. All right, and guess what? The final notice is just about due for Egypt, man. All right, this place is just about due. All right, all the heavy debt that it has. All right, and ultimately, you know, they're gonna have to pay. All right, you think about you see these movies, you know, back in the day when people didn't have that money. And what did they have to do? They went to a restaurant or something, you know, tried to order all this stuff. And what did they have to do? They had to work it off. All right. Well, guess what? You know, hey, they're gonna be in slavery, okay, along with these other nations. All right, but they're gonna be in this. They're gonna be in that hardcore. All right, for all their heavy debts. All right, and the atrocities and the things that they have done. Okay, so abteet. All right, so thick clay. All right, that for thick clay it means heavy debts. All right, in this place, Babylon the Great. All right, aka, you know, spiritual Sodom in Egypt is heavy in debts. All right, you saw $37 trillion. All right, and counting. Okay, but soon enough, hey, that final notice is due. Okay, let's get Salakia. Let's go to the book of Job. Okay. Salakia. Let's go to Job 20, I believe, and verse number 15. All right. It says, he have swallowed down riches, and he shall vomit them up again. The Most High shall cast them out of his belly. Okay, and this place is what does it do? It just consumes everything and everything, right? It wants to heap the nations. It wants to draw everybody unto him. All right, the nations of the, you know, of the world. All right, the whole nine. All right, he's trying to get it all, but ultimately, the Lord is going to have him vomit it all back up. All right, because the Lord is going to bring this devil down. All right, to the dust. All right, we go to the book of Isaiah 47. All right, in verse number 1, it says, Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans. For thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. All right, and people, you know, bringing all their their riches and, their wealth to this place. All right. And this place is heavy in debt, right? If you just think about, you think about Jake on the streets, man. Hey, let me get $1. Hey, this place, $37 trillion. All right. Of thick clay, right? Of heavy debt. All right. This place, has hell to pay. All right. And what do they do, right? When they first, came out, you had your money, was backed by something. Now this stuff is not backed by anything, man. Like really, this literally is monopoly money that people are playing with. And now they're really getting to a point where what? Now they're going to give you invisible money, right? They're going to give you a number and say, yep. And a lot of people have that now. You walk around with a card, all right, that says you got this number of stuff in your account, all right? And like I say, eventually what we was bringing out was Revelation 13:16. All right. So now it's going to go into your hand and your head, and you're not going to be able to do transactions and other things without having, all right, ultimately that micro C hip, all right, the kadagma, all right, which is a spiritual, salakia, spiritual, which is a physical thing, okay? The kadagma, all right? When you look up that root word, it's kadax, which is like a pail or a stake, all right? There's something that you drive into, so it's a physical thing. You drive a stake into the ground, all right? And ultimately, they want to have everybody, implanted with that, all right? But they want to take everything, all right? But understanding that this place is headed down, all right? And guess what? Their debt, their thick clay is just about due. All right. So it says, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Take the millstones and grind meal, uncover thy locks, make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. And I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. Okay? When Yahawashi returns, right? And Yahawashi, which means he saves or he delivers, all right? He's coming to rescue, all right, his elect, all right? But he's coming to bring judgment upon Esau, Edom, all right? And he's coming to make sure that this place, Babylon, all right, is completely destroyed, all right? All its heavy debt, the things that it is heaped to him, all right? In 1 hour, this place is going to be completely destroyed. Okay? Let's get that. All right. Revelation 18. And let's go to, I'll start at Revelation chapter 18, verse 3. It says, for all the nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, right? And the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. Okay, this place, man, and this all this place does is consume. What is it? We'll pay you later. You know what I mean? Well, steadily, what are they doing? They're taking from, their workers. All right, they're taking from them, for the people that work for them. All right, let me get this, let me get that. All right, and you see where they're with the situation that they're at. All right, they're $37 trillion in debt. Okay, 37 trillion and counting. Right, it's just and it's, you see how fast that thing was going. All right, it says, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. I'm gonna jump down verse 5. It says, for her sins have reached unto heaven, and the Most High have remembered her iniquities. It says, reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her according to her works, in the cup which she hath filled to her double. All right. It says, how much she have glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her, for she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. All right, because this place, it's just think that it's going to continue to run as usual. All right, and you see that this place is steadily closing down upon itself. All right, shops closing down. All right, the money is not what it used to be. All right, this money, man. Nope. These other nations, you got BRICS and all them who are not even messing with the dollar. All right, and what is it backed by? Nothing now, right? Now they just handing you got pieces of papers and they're trying to get rid of the pieces of paper. Now they're just trying to get you a digital number and say, yep, this is what you have. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy. All right. And people think that you're actually doing something. All right. They have tricked the people. All right. And I believe it was Elder Apostle Aramlab. He had did a video. It might have been Elder Apostle Gabar. I forget which one. And they were showing on the dollar, in the back of the dollar, how it has a web on the back of it. And what does a web do? A spider web, what it catches prey. And it's like you get those promissory notes to say, hey, this is that. And now what do? You become part of that debt, because really that money doesn't mean anything. All right. This place they're just running money that's really worthless. Right. And when the people really catch wind of this place, all right, and see that this place is worthless, man. This money is worthless. All right. And this is why they're going to have to reset and say, yep, we're going to have to do something. This is going to be digital now. All right. It says, let's see, verse number 8. It says, therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning, famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong is Yahawah Bahasham, that power, who judgeth her. Okay? But this, her reward, all right, is double unto her. Give double unto this devil. All right? So she's gonna catch hell. All right? And what? Esau, Edom, they're gonna have to pay for their debts. All right? They're gonna have to pay for their debts. Let's see. Let's jump down. Let's start at verse 11. Revelation chapter 18, verse 11, it says, the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her. It says, right, for Babylon, all right, because in 1 hour this place is going to burn. It's going to be destroyed, all right, for all the lies and atrocity. You think about it, $37 trillion. Yeah, I'm going to pay you back. Yeah, what do they always do? They have these big old news conferences about how they're going to try to trim the debt. They're going to cut this and cut that. $37 trillion, man. All right. And still spending, right? You think about what the cruel Lord, right, Nero, what he did. What did he do? On his birthday, he held this huge, military parade, right, that cost millions of dollars. All right. Just for what? Just to show. Okay. And that's the thing, right? They're in debt, and then they're still just spending it like there's no tomorrow. All right. It says, and the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise anymore. It says, the merchandise of gold, of silver, and precious stones, and of pearls, and fine linen, and purple, and silk, and scarlet, and all fine wood, and all manner of vessels of ivory, and all manners of vessels of most precious wood, and brass, and iron, and marble, and cinnamon, and odors, and ointments, and frankincense, and wine, and oil, and fine flour, wheat, and beast, and sheep, and horses, and chariots, and slaves, and the souls of men. Okay, because what have they done? All right, they have built this place off of free labor. All right, for hundreds of years, and continue to duke the people. right? What do? You work, all right? And before you get your money, they take their money, all right? And then when you use your money to buy anything, what do? They tax everything that you have, all right? And you just constantly continue to just give them money, all right? And what they just recycle and give it back to you, and we'll take it again, right? It's just a vicious cycle, all right? So when you see that dollar bill, or it has that web, man, because you just get caught up in this whole system of this thick clay, man, of heavy debt, all right? And when it comes crashing down, right, people are gonna be losing their minds, man. Right? I remember it was a guy maybe a year ago or two ago. I guess I don't know if he was on some financial stuff, and he must have made a financial move, and it flopped, and he was trying to delete himself, right? But the Lord wouldn't let him delete himself. He had came up to the camp and was talking, you know. But this place, man, all right, they try to heap together everything, all right, slaves, right, all the finest things, all right, and they can't even pay for it, man, all right, because this place is with thick clay or heavy debt, and it's gonna be paid off, okay, by the destruction of this place, all right, and eventually, Esau, right, along with the other nations, they're going into slavery, all right, and they're gonna work off, all right, that debt, okay. So I just wanted to do this lesson. Like I say, Lord's will. This was edifying, right? But with that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory. I want to say, Kohol Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rawchaa, Qadash. Peace and blessings to the elect, the 12 tribes scattered abroad, the mighty Shalom, to the 144,000 men. Double honors to the apostles and elders, the GMS who have ruled well to the spirit and have fed and edified the sheep in these last days. Another mighty shalom to the rest of the elect and the household of faith in these last days. All right. Egypt, it's a final notice, man, for Egypt and your thick clay, man, right? That heavy debt is just about due. All right. The Lord is going to require it of you. All right. And if you can't pay up, destruction is coming. And destruction is coming. All right. So with that, we say a ball, and shalom.